It's Monday, March 30th, 2026, and we're along the South Shore's Monon corridor the day before its much anticipated opening. Trains are running without passengers today, but following posted service schedules for crews to prepare for impending revenue service. We've only had to wait about 2 minutes for a northbound deadhead to Hammond Yard to make an appearance heading into South Hammond siding. The deadhead we just saw of train 1113 is met by rush hour train 303 and is led by power car 11. While this train is moving geographically south, it is timetabled as an eastbound move. We'll see plenty more of the old Monon as we explore America's newest passenger rail line and the opening of the South Shore Line's Monon corridor. There's something to be said about the first 80-degree day in spring, and that came to Northwest Indiana the early afternoon of March 30th. Taking full advantage of the beautiful weather, I'll be walking up and down the parallel Monon bike trail the entire evening scoping out shots. We're now along the South Hammond siding just north of the Borman Expressway to glimpse eastbound train 305 doing a mock station stop in South Hammond. They will be meeting the reverse commuter westbound train 312 here on the siding. The 312 is the reverse of the 303 we just saw in Munster. The first and current timetable on the Monon corridor has 5 rush hour westbounds in the morning and 5 rush hour eastbounds in the evening, all of which run directly from Chicago to the Monon corridor, while off-peak shuttle trains operate just about hourly to and from the railroad's main line at the Hammond Gateway Station. With their meet complete, Run 312 can complete their own station work at South Hammond before continuing all the way to the Windy City and Millennium Station. We've moved just south under 8094 to milepost 65 to catch the deadhead of train 305's equipment to Hammond Yard. Mileposts on the Monon corridor bleed into the same descending order as the railroad's main line west of Hammond. The deadhead will be waiting on the siding a few minutes to meet train 307 currently on their way from Chicago. We've moved down to South Hammond Station for a close-up look at the train making their stop. Train 307 is led by Power Car 103, which was built by Nippon Shiraiyo in 2001 as part of a 10-car purchase order made by the South Shore to expand their capacity. While the 100 series cars are nearly identical to the rest of the single-level fleet, they have a slightly different control configuration as well as only one cab versus two. We've retreated back south to the south end of South Hammond Siding and the Little Calumet River at control point 65.1. Both the Monon corridor and bike trail have bridges across the river which marks the boundary between the city of Hammond to the north and town of Munster to the south. We catch the northbound deadhead of the train 307 we just saw at CP 65.1. From here we'll walk another half-mile south to the Munster Ridge Road Station. All is quiet this beautiful and picturesque spring evening at the Munster Ridge Road Station. The information on these station signs that have been on display for weeks will finally be able to be used by commuters come tomorrow afternoon. We can make out the faint shape of train 309 making their station stop at South Hammond. 309 is running a bit early and will linger at both stations a bit longer than normal to properly follow departure times. Friendly crew on this evening's 309 bids us farewell, and we'll do the same to the Monon corridor this evening. Tomorrow is the big day, and we'll be on the first train. The weather on March 31st would prove to be less than friendly, especially for making the quarter-mile walk to the new Hammond Gateway Station from the old lot. Project engineers, railroad personnel, lots of local residents, and even the Indiana State Governor himself were all present for this historic moment. I'm certainly no vlogger, and handheld video is less than my specialty, but I learned rather quickly that a 4-foot fence can make quite the effective tripod to shoot the passage of mainline train 109. Relatively petty distractions aside, we finally get a glimpse of the first Monon Corridor revenue train, which will be operated as train 1109. I don't think I'm alone in feeling historically significant events, whether good or bad, are always better spent with friends. Gideon Commands and Kyle Steinke were already waiting for me at the station.
Say something.
Something.
Something. Say something. Say something.
A beyond impressive amount of people were present to ride the train, so we'll hop aboard a bit early now to make sure we get some seats.
All of like half of them.
Oh no, his restaurant's a region boy, you know.
I was born in South Bend. So
Yeah.
You're just down the street.
Oh yeah, you're still far. Yeah, that's South Bend. Still, they're on the main Werner husband. Go on.
I'll learn how to properly focus a camera someday. Our friend Sam Combs and his wife Rhea would join us too.
You're on camera. Say something.
Something.
All these drinks we ran.
We were there.
Pseudos.
And then
Would stand at a podium, give their name and address, and say, "It's stupid stuff." The one guy literally was that he was up front. You're saying
When I got there,
11:45, time to turn wheels. Certainly cause for celebration.
best day of my life. Best damn day of my life. Did good work at the workers there. You know, they got put on the show for the governor.
That would be fun.
I am certainly not the born showman that Gideon is, so enjoy his colorful commentary as we make our way south toward Dyer.
It looks pretty good, you know. You got the grass and the tracks, you know.
No buildings, but you got grass.
Yeah, they were supposed to build a building, but they ran out of money, so maybe about 10 years you'll got car 103.
Reads for the Northern Indiana Commuter Transportation District, the opening day for the new line for commuters to run from Munster all the way through Hammond and can take service in one seat all the way to Chicago's Millennium Station. We're very excited today. Please ride the train. Please support Hammond. We love you and we'll keep you posted.
Go Bears.
You guys been to Union Station from there?
What is that?
You got that guy? He said we could go to Union Station
Oh.
on this train.
He's cool.
Yeah.
One day.
Oh, there's downtown.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there's Holman.
Here's the Russell train station
Russell,
right here.
yeah.
This is so surreal. I just can't believe it.
right before that's
Oh, I see.
Where is this house?
It's
The fact that something got finished is like a huge deal. Oh my God, it's Alex Christmas! Oh my God, look at the camera, look at him! Years of filming people and posting on YouTube, and Alex Christmas all of a sudden doesn't want to be on camera. Sad.
The first revenue stop ever made at the South Hammond station. Departing South Hammond, we're passing the same stretch of track we were hanging around yesterday evening. No meets in the siding today, and we'll continue our southward run.
Just is right here.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
There you go.
A brass band and 300 chicken dinners.
Yeah.
Over lunch.
Before she became state representative.
I think put me on the info farms. This is much to reach out.
We're crossing the CSX Monon and Elston subdivisions below at Maynard Junction.
Yeah, so
Community Estates, the subdivision we first began our look at the test trains on the line a few months ago, can be seen outside as we approach Munster Dyer Main Street Station. Unbeknownst to me at the time, the head end of the train will be cutting a ribbon as it arrives.
go White House. Yeah. If you put RRB, so it just makes sense, you know.
It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so I got a couple friends that work at last.
Yeah.
And they all had 6 months on the street, but now they've all been as they want it, or the splinter jobs they want, and they all stay. I've never seen that anymore.
So Bill Gowan, yeah, I stayed with him like 2 months, like a year ago. Because I was thinking about going to Alaska.
Yeah, he's kind of crazy though. So I was asking him like, what do you like somebody does? He wants to stay in shotguns. I was like, really? He likes to shoot
Power break because you push the button.
With the first southward run a success, we'll stretch our legs and take a look at the Munster Dyer station. And more importantly, try not to have an anxiety-induced aneurysm navigating the extremely crowded platform.
Get off and wait a half hour, then get back on.
Both American and Indiana state flags were mounted on just about every car of the train. The 39 will be leading our train back north to Hammond, which will operate as train 1024.
I know, right? Not mine. Not mine.
With the 35-minute layover just about complete, we'll climb aboard and head back to Hammond.
All right, first ride to success. What do you think?
You know, as a region boy, I've grown up here, you know, most of my life. It makes me really happy to see all these people in the community, you know, sharing their passion over the South Shore. The South Shore is really dear to me, to my heart, you know. It's been our community line for more than 100 years now, you know, and the South Shore, it's always embodied the region's spirit of overcoming trials and tribulations to get the job done. It's really reflective of the people of Northwest Indiana. So for me today, it's one of the best days of my life personally, and I think that the South Shore has done really well on making the line.
Thanks. Oh yeah.
What? I'm not that important. I just live here.
All right. Okay, you're a disgruntled freight railroader. What did you think of the first ride on the South Shore?
Good ride and on time.
Someone remotely not interested in trains at all, what did you think of the first ride?
I think it's cool.
Arriving back at the Hammond Gateway Station, still alive and not derailed, it's safe to say the first revenue run of the Monon corridor was a massive success.
off, Mark. Sounds good.
Yeah, right.
We almost forgot to ask Kyle his opinion. Oops.
It's nice to experience history. A transit project that was finished. It's very pivotal for our society.
Whether to get the entire experience of transferring between the two lines or just returning home by way of train, a vast majority of the passengers on the first run will be boarding train 24 to Chicago. Our train's consist has been broken into a normal two-car shuttle train, while the balance will be yarded here at Hammond.
If you want, I can do I don't really care.
Meanwhile, train 24 from South Bend has arrived with leased metro equipment, and the Monon Corridor's first circle of life is just about complete.
Well, so that's actually my car too. That one just had stopped attached. So the 1201 has 26 car lease. Those other ones, they haven't gotten some up.
To keep up with the large influx of new trains with the opening of the Monon Corridor, the South Shore is leasing 26 of these Metro EMUs on a 15-year term. While many have been retrofitted with South Shore logos, the demand for service is great, and many are currently taking on the appearance of Metro trains without any patching. Meeting train 24 is eastbound train 11 to South Bend. The train is operating with Nick-Tite-owned bi-level EMUs that were originally purchased as an add-on order to Metro's order that are currently being leased by the South Shore. If one thing is certain, I'm no Casey Neistat and not a vlogger by any stretch of the imagination. We'll return to the Monon Corridor tomorrow evening doing what I feel I do best, staying behind a camera following trains around. April 1st would prove to be another rainy day, and to add insult to injury, just about 30 degrees colder. Regardless, I ventured out trackside after work and we're beginning the evening at Fisher Street in Munster at milepost 63.4. An intermediate signal between both sidings on the line exists here, and an advanced approach tells us that the next northbound is lined into South Hammond siding. The signal is for the deadhead of train 1113, which will once again meet train 303 at South Hammond. Looking north, train 303 has arrived at Munster Ridge. I couldn't help but notice driving here from my office that the station's parking lot was almost totally full, and a close look will show quite a few passengers disembarking. All on day 2. What a sight. We've returned to Community Estates and control point 61.6 on the south end of the line. Train 303 will be flipping here as Train 312 to Chicago, the evening's direct reverse commuter run. The 312 would meet Train 305 at South Hammond, seen here arriving at Munster Dyer. From here we'll head north to 165th Street in Hammond. One of my personal favorite shots along the line is the 165th Street bike trail overpass, which provides some elevation for shooting passing trains. The 305 deadhead runs north to Hammond Yard. A quick look at the west side of the city of Hammond. We're less than a mile from the Illinois state line. For those interested in following trains on the new line, the South Shore app has already been updated to provide real-time tracking for Monon corridor trains. We get an elevated view of Train 307 racing south behind Nick number 1. After catching the 307 here, we'll head another 2 miles north and spend some time at Hammond Gateway Station, which during the rush hours has become quite the hotspot for passenger train action in northwest Indiana. Mainline train 123 almost beat me behind a leased Metro by level with 1309. quiet early spring evening at Hammond Gateway. As of the current schedule, no Monon corridor-bound rush hour trains make stops here and instead head straight to South Hammond. The next train to stop here won't be until southbound shuttle train 1131 after dark. We've discussed the new Hammond Yard plenty, but haven't taken any sort of in-depth look at it. The deadhead of train 307 has arrived and will yard the train before its crew calls it a day. The two previous northbound deadheads we caught earlier can be seen in the yard tracks to the right, while downtown Hammond of the city's monstrous First Baptist Church can be seen in the background. Terminal carmen and coach cleaners are now based here at Hammond in addition to the existing bases of Carroll Avenue in Michigan City and Millennium Station in downtown Chicago. Back on the South Shore Main, we catch eastbound train 25 to South Bend. Two-digit train numbers run the railroad's entire length to and from South Bend, while 100 series trains terminate and originate at Michigan City. 200 series trains are Gary locals and terminate and originate at Miller, and 300 series trains are new Monon corridor runs. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you're probably wondering where the freight trains are. Rest assured, a westward glance lenses both the South Shore freight switching Burnham Yard as well as Norfolk Southern Train 29F on the railroad's former nickel plate Chicago district. The 29F is a daily high-priority intermodal train between the railroad's Calumet Yard in South Chicago and Jacksonville, Florida. Momentarily distracted by the eastbound on the NS, we almost missed train 309 rolling up the grade to Hammond Gateway. The train will bypass the station and continue south to South Hammond. Train 225 to Gary is next at Hammond and will come close to meeting westbound train 130 with more leased Metro equipment. From here we'll head to the future side of the downtown Hammond station. We visited the monstrous bridge through downtown Hammond once before. Despite the line only being a few days old, groundbreaking on its fourth station here in downtown Hammond is scheduled for April 16th, hopefully bringing additional interest and ridership to the line. We'll catch 2 more trains here as we move into Blue Hour, train 311 to Munster Dyer, followed by the deadhead of train 309. This will bring an end to our brief look at the opening of the Monon corridor. It is so beyond surreal to see something that's been in the works for decades finally be a finished product, and I'm so glad to be able to have shared that excitement with you. Thank you very much for coming along for a look at America's newest passenger rail line with me, and as always, thanks for watching.